Now, we got to remember we've got this is the Soviet Union, this is Russia, so they have their own media. And I found this article, and I shouldn't be laughing because it's horrible. But this is the Moscow Times talking about the other story of Grozny. The city of Grozny is cold and dirty. Again, this is some kind of a state-approved message. There is no water and no electricity at night. The streets are illuminated only by distant fires sparked by Russian shelling and the occasional flares. The air is full of sound, constantly thumping of artillery shells, the screams of Grad missiles, and the crackle of machine gun fire. The only source of heat in the burned-out basements of Grozny are from homemade furnaces that Russian soldiers have fashioned from bricks of destroyed buildings. At night, officers and soldiers huddle around them, their faces dirtied and covered with sweat since they rarely have water with which to wash it. It almost looks like they are wearing the kind of camouflage paint that is issued to soldiers in Western armies. These men are by and large normal, decent people. They believe that they are doing their duty in Chechnya. That's a little bit contrary to what we just heard from the prisoners. Of course, now the prisoners, those guys are in a duress situation too, because they might get their heads chopped off at any moment. So they're probably making the case the best they can that, hey, yep, we're not in support of Russia. They're just trying to stay alive. They insist that, back to the article, they insist they do not intentionally attack peaceful civilians, but are instead waging battle against an organized and pitiless enemy. The conscripts who are risking their lives in Chechnya might as well be considered volunteers. This is the paper, saying that these poor guys that are fighting, they should be considered volunteers. Even though they're conscripts that are being forced to fight there, they might as well be considered volunteers. Russia has not declared a war or martial law, so nothing threatens deserters except the moral condemnation of the comrades they leave behind. The Army's morale has been steadily improving as it becomes more experienced in street fighting. Again, there's countless documented cases of the morale completely falling apart and being one of the premier causes of the loss of the battle. Its casualty rate is falling and is able to inflict increasing punishment on the Chechen fighters. The military is confident of victory. Among these soldiers, you hear a different opinion about the war than what you read in Moscow. Many reports in the media about Chechnya campaign are obviously biased against the military. Some may even be censored. When I was in Chechnya on January 22nd, a crew from Russian television was in Grozny shooting a report for the evening news program. The report included graphic footage of the bodies of Russian soldiers who had been mutilated by the Chechens. However, the host of the program refused to air it without even seeing it. Of course, only a fraction of the Russian army is fighting in Chechnya, but they have been sent there from virtually every military district in the country. Eventually, they will return to their bases and tell their stories to the rest of their comrades in arms. And those soldiers will put a lot more stock in what the Chechnya veterans have to say than they will in any press reports or human rights activists.